This is the Sewing Circle podcast presented by Hanky Code. I'm Rebecca Vanderkoy, here to introduce to you up-and-coming queer artists and the powerful stories behind their work. Today, I am so excited to have the indie pop artist and writer Dylan Binza joining me. His article, Finding Divinity in Queerness, comes out on our website, www.hankycodemagazine.com today. So definitely check that out. Dylan, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
We're really excited to have you. So, since your article comes out on our website today, I'd love to chat about that a little bit. Can you talk about what inspired you to write this article?
I think that a lot of the times when I'm creating any kind of art, not just music, but also like writing or visual arts, um, I like to think about what do I have to say that hasn't already been said? Like what's unique to my experience? What story do I have to tell? And I feel like a lot of the times that has to do with my identity as a religious person, as a queer person, as a multiracial like person of color. So those are the stories that I like to tell with my art. And so that's just what I'm passionate about also. I think I faced a lot of um, opposition to that growing up, especially the religious part. And so I kind of want to influence what I can and tell my story. That yeah, you can be queer, you can be religious. Don't let people tell you who you're allowed to be. And so that's why I wanted to write this piece.
Yeah, no, that's a super important message, honestly. So, kind of going with that a little bit, oftentimes I think that queerness and religion are kind of seen as maybe being at odds with each other. And I'm wondering if you could talk about how you reached a place where you were able to kind of embrace both of those aspects of your life and identity.
I feel like it was definitely hard growing up, and I feel like I didn't realize that I was queer until I don't know, probably like I was 15 or 16, so a lot later than I feel like a lot of people figure out their sexuality. And so the first thing that I did was research. Like I feel like every time I'm scared of something, like I always research it. I figure out as much as I can, and I feel like that usually makes me feel better about things.
Yeah.
And so I like did a ton of like Bible study, and then I found a book called God and the Gay Christian, which I talk about in my article. And that really opened my eyes to like this whole other world of progressive Christianity, like affirming Christianity. And I know a lot of other faiths have progressive takes as well. Um, when in the more traditional sense, like they're not like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I think that doing the research really helped me come to terms with both balancing both queerness and religion. And then I found, artists like Trey Pearson, Flamey Grant, Semler. I love their music. And just to kind of hear somebody's story that is similar to mine and think like, gosh, I've been through that too. Like I'm not alone in feeling what I feel was so important to me in accepting myself and figuring out who I want to be.
Yeah, no, that absolutely makes sense. So, in your article, you also do mention submitting your music to a queer Christian songwriting competition. And I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about the competition and what you submitted, anything like that.
I had never heard of the organization that was hosting it, Affirming Connections, but Flamey Grant, she's a Christian drag queen, and she like makes really good music. She's super talented. She posted on their story about that they were judging this contest, and
Okay.
so that's how I kind of found out about it. And I was like, you know what? Like, what the heck? I have nothing to lose. Like, I might as well just submit something. Like, I already had the song written and I was just kind of sitting on it. I didn't know what to do with it. I felt like I was scared to put it out. So I was like, maybe I'll just put it in and see what people think of it. And then maybe, like, if people seem to like it, I'll put it out or I'll, like, put it on YouTube or something. And I wasn't expecting to hear anything back. And then a few months later, I did hear back that they'd given me an honorable mention and that the judges really liked my song, which felt really surprising, but also really good to kind of get that validation that like I had told a powerful story.
Yeah.
Um, so that was just a really special experience. They had like a few webinars and panels that I got to speak on about, writing music as well as, queerness and faith. And then they posted it to their website as well. And then I ended up posting the song to my YouTube channel. It's called The Divine. It's up there if you want to take a look. And so that was kind of encouraging for me, and like it felt like I was going in the right direction.
Yeah, no, that absolutely makes sense. That sounds like a really cool opportunity, but also I think there is something to be said for like when you kind of take a jump and do something to see kind of the fruits of that, to know like, oh, I'm on the right path.
For sure, for sure. I feel like I'm the kind of person too that I'm always like looking for signs like from the universe. I'm like, if this does well, then it's a sign that I should like keep going. Like, I don't
Exactly,
know.
yeah.
Very like, I don't know.
No, I get that because very much same over here.
Yeah.
So, before we switch to talking a bit more about your music, is there anything else about your article that I haven't asked about that you did want to mention or share?
I think that's everything, honestly. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you.
perfect. Yeah, of course. So, you have a couple songs out right now on Spotify, and I'm wondering if you could talk about your writing process. Is it kind of the same all the time, or does it vary depending on like what you're working on?
It definitely varies depending on the song. I feel like sometimes a song will just speak to me or like it'll come to me, and I'll go from like a single line and build out the entire song from that. Or other times it'll come from like a poem. A lot of the times I do write lyrics first before music, but
Hmm.
not always. So I feel like it's just very song specific. On my most recent song that I put out, Lonely Ghost Town, I collaborated with one of my friends, Madison Becker, on the songwriting process, and I'd never really done that before. So it was super cool to work with another person in that creative part of the process. I felt like it was just nice to have another person, like, pushing the song forwards. Because I feel like a lot of the times when I'm writing my own music, I just, like, I get tired of hearing my own voice or, like, hearing the same melody over and over again. And just to get that kind of fresh outsider perspective from somebody who also believes in the song was really helpful for me. But my first song that I wrote, Ava, that was like, I did that entirely by myself. So it really just depends on the song.
Yeah, no, that absolutely makes sense. So, is there any song released or unreleased that you're really currently especially proud of?
Yeah, I'm working on a song now that's actually coming out this Friday, May 2nd. So pre-save it and get those Spotify analytics up. Um,
Absolutely.
Called Every Time, and I'm super proud of that one. It's like a fun song, and I feel like a lot of the songs that I write are not fun. Like I feel like I write a lot of sad songs. Like I just love me some like, Adele vibes, Conan Gray vibes. Um,
Absolutely.
and so this is just kind of like unique to, I guess, like a lot of the stuff that's in my songwriting notebook. And it's kind of about like, laughing so we don't cry. It's like unsuccessful crushes and relationships and that kind of whole cycle. But like,
Yeah.
you just gotta dance through the pain.
One way to get through it, honestly.
hmm Yeah, so I'm
So,
really
you
excited about
mentioned,
that.
oh, yes, absolutely. So, you mentioned, Adele and Conan Gray, and I'm curious, what other artists do you draw inspiration from?
I feel like, obviously Taylor Swift. She's everywhere. Like I love me some Taylor Swift. Like 1989 is like the peak of pop music. Like don't even talk to me. Like that is the height of
Absolutely.
pop. So
I
I feel like
agree.
she, right? Like it just, oh, whatever chemicals they put in that song, those songs, like, oh, they're just so good. So I feel like Taylor Swift is obviously a big inspiration.
Hmm.
But I mean, Conan Gray is my favorite artist of all time. I think that like a lot of his music is very like queer coded, and I really like the dramatics of it. I feel like a lot of the times, like I feel like it makes me feel seen. And so I
Yeah.
definitely take a lot of inspiration from him, like singer-songwriter stuff. Um, who else? I would say those are the main two. Yeah.
Amazing. So, kind of speaking a little bit more to inspiration, where do you draw inspiration for your work?
I think a lot of the times when I sit down to write, I usually I'll just like do a free write. Like I'll write a page without judgment or without like stopping to think about what I'm writing. I just kind of let the stream of consciousness come out of me. And a lot of the times it's just like, what emotion am I feeling right now? Like, what has been on my mind the most lately? What's like the most pressing thing in my life? And that's kind of how I figure out where I want to go. Like with Lonely Ghost Town, I had written that um, last summer, I think. So it's been a while. And I had just moved home from Boston where I went to college. And now I live in Virginia in the suburbs where there's like nobody my age. And like a lot of my friends from high school have like moved away and stuff like that. And so that was really heavily on my mind because I was like, I feel like I should be doing all these like fun summer things, like, going to the beach, going to the fair. But it's completely different now because my life is completely different now. And
Yeah.
so that was really what was on my mind when I wrote that one. So a lot of the times it is just like, what has my brain been spiraling about lately?
Right. No, absolutely. So obviously you're also, sharing kind of the backstory of Lonely Ghost Town. Is there a story behind any of your other songs? Anything that might not be out yet that you'd want to share?
Yeah. Um, so the song that I talked about earlier, The Divine, that was a song that I had wrote about my relationship with God as a queer person. Um, I like I feel like growing up, I was involved in a lot of like religious activities, and I'm super fortunate to have like very progressive and accepting parents, but a lot of the other religious influences in my life were not like that, and a lot of
Hmm.
them, kind of believed that queerness and Christianity were on like opposite sides of the spectrum, couldn't coexist. And so I kind of wanted to draw from like what it felt like growing up in, religious environments where religion like had been a super important source of comfort for me and my identity as a kid. Uh, and yet having to like, find this resolution between the two things. So yeah, that was kind of the story behind the divine.
Yeah. I feel like that's a story that so many people can relate to in kind of various ways. So there is something kind of to be said for like, this is a very specific experience to you, but it definitely, like, as people are listening, I think a lot of people can feel seen and understood by hearing that as well.
Thank you. That's the goal, hopefully. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you can relate, but also I hope that somebody can relate. Like, I hope this helps people.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. So, when did you know that you wanted to be a singer-songwriter?
Ooh, that is a great and tough question. I feel like I still struggle every now and then. Like, am I on the right track? Like, am I doing the right thing? Like, what am I supposed to do with my life? Like, having, the weekly identity crisis, it
I get
happens. You
it.
pick yourself up, you move
Yeah.
on. I didn't really start taking music seriously until I got to college. I had been performing for a really long time. Like I started in community theater when I was 10. Um, and then, I was thinking maybe I like want to be, a theater major. Maybe I want to go on Broadway. But then I feel like it kind of stopped working for me. Like I feel like I kind of outgrew that phase, but I
Mhm.
didn't want to give up the music part of it because I just like I love singing. Every time I'm going through anything, like I'll, you know, take a shower and like play music really loud or like drive around my neighborhood and just listen to music. And that just helps me process my emotions. And so by the time I got to college, I was like, maybe I should like see where this goes. Like I literally have nothing to lose. Like, I'm young. I don't have a family to support, so it's not like I need to be, making a ton of money right now.
Yeah.
Um and so I thought I would just kind of dive in and see where it took me. So I started taking well, I've been taking voice lessons before, but I started taking more intensive voice lessons, I guess. And
Yeah.
then as well as songwriting classes. So I took a bunch of songwriting and production classes as well. So
Okay, that's really
here we
cool.
are.
And
Thank
now
you.
you are here.
Exactly.
So, is there anything new and exciting on the horizon for you that you are able to or that you'd like to share?
Yeah. So, like I said, I have that song Every Time coming out on Friday, which is super fun. I can't wait for that to come out. I think it's definitely different than Lonely Ghost Town, but I think it's different in a good way.
Yeah.
And hopefully, this summer I'm gonna be able to put out some more songs. Like I'm aiming to get like 5 songs out by the end of the summer. That's the goal. We'll see if it
That'd be awesome.
happens. But yeah, I know, knock on wood. We'll see if it happens. But yeah, so I have a ton of stuff in the works. I think the hardest part is just recording it and getting it produced. Like I have so many songs written in my notebook that I'm just sitting on. So
Yeah,
yeah,
just
big
got to
things
get it all
coming.
together so you can put it out.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. I can't wait to see what you do next, to hear your new song coming out on Friday. And
Thank you
I
so
also
much.
did just want to briefly add to anybody listening that if you would like to submit an article or photos, visual art, honestly anything else, um, you would be featured in our digital publication, and we are now open for 24/7 submissions on our website, which is www.pinkycodemagazine.com.